Hey Ernie, how you doing? How's everybody doing? All right, I think I got everything set up. I'm gonna try windowed. Normally I go full screen, but I'm feeling like every time we tab in and out to get back and forth to Xsplit, I feel like Windows loses focus. You know, it doesn't prioritize like it's supposed to with games. And so once we tab back in, we're not quite getting like full power. You know what I'm saying? Oh, right about in there somewhere. Yeah. So we're going to try something a little bit different. See how it works. All right. Here we go. So what is going on the farm? I am, let me see. Well, we're broke for one thing. Are we back in? There we go. There we go. I moused over. I thought we were active again, but I mean, that seems a little smoother, and that's solid 60 FPS. So here's what's going on. We're out of money. I had to borrow a bunch of money. We're going to pay some of it back right now. So if we go here, pay this back. Yeah, that puts us on 75. We're running out of money. And we did, for the animals, I did get, I saw you can buy fermented clover, fermented alfalfa over here. And that is under bales. I think so. Yeah. Brown bale, alfalfa silage, and clover silage. So I bought, for the cows, I bought 50,000 liters, I guess 16 of those. Man, without seasons, your animals take so much food. It's amazing. But I got them sorted out. And then the only other thing that I can't give them is just grass, just raw grass, or clover, or corn. We had problems, Ernie. I will tell you about it, but we had problems. And then the sheep, I was able to get them topped off because you can buy pallets of carrots if you're running Maize Plus. So these animals are 100% productive. These animals are 80% productive. We need to get one more crop type in there, and they will be good to go. And what else is going on as far as fields? So we're in this big field right here, field 2.9. And we got this sensor on here that I bought. I don't know exactly what this thing does, so we're going to test it out and see what it does. I think we may still need to do soil samples. Go right here. Drop this, because I don't want this thing to like interfere. You know, I don't want the fact that we have a lime spreader on there to give some kind of false reading like it does when you go into a field. So if we unfold this thing, right, and we drive into the field, I don't think it can do a soil sample, but maybe it can do a something. I don't know. Let's see. So we turn it on, and then nothing happens. Nothing happens. Oh, something does happen. Well, moment, please. Let's figure out how we want to do this. So I guess we can make one trip around for a headland, and let's see if we can put this on a worker. And then once we're done here, we'll go in and take a look at the Precision Farming DLC menu. Yeah, we're still getting that micro stutter. We're at 60 FPS, but we're getting a micro stutter. I feel like it's not... Windows doesn't have focus on this EXE. We'll have to figure out a way to get around that. I don't recall that happening with OBS, but XSplit is kind of a different animal. So we will make one lap around and then see if we can put this on a hired worker, which would be a significant difference between this and the soil probe. Soil probe, I believe you have to do manually, but we might be able to put this on a worker. I did uninstall the advanced AI, because as we had on Purbeck Valley, I don't know if you remember the episode where our T-Dub went berserk and just took off across the map at like 400 miles per hour, used an entire tank of fuel in 1 second. I don't know if you remember that day, but this little tractor right here did exactly the same thing. And I don't know what could cause that, but I was thinking it would seem likely to be a mod that can take over the tractor. And other than advanced AI, I can't think of any mods that take over like that. AI, either advanced AI or Courseplay. So we'll start with advanced AI. If it ever happens again, then we'll reinstall advanced AI and put and take Courseplay out. But yeah, I'm continuing to feel this theme sort of resonating through my life that you gotta be very, very selective about mods. And I feel myself just peeling away mods. And in fact, that's kind of what happened to the stream yesterday. So we were in the Flight Factor 757. I've always had problems with that aircraft. I got the 757 extended, which has the modern avionics built in. You don't have to run them. You can run either the modern avionics or you can run the steam gauges. And I always run modern avionics, but yesterday, just to kind of test, I put the steam gauges on, and it's still 25 FPS. So I'm on Iveo now. I'm not on VATSIM, but VATSIM, if you drop below 25 at all, not as an average, but if you just ever dip below 25, you get kicked off the service because they've concluded that's not enough frame rate to be able to fly accurately. So it's pretty slow. And 30 is not far from 25. So I took a look online and all the threads I found said, yeah, the modern avionics just wreck frame rate even if you have them turned off. It's like they're a part of the aircraft and they just mess it up. And I was also experimenting with a volume mod. I had 3J FPS booster and a lot of other things running, and I feel like, I wouldn't say that I broke the game, but I feel like I sort of broke the game. So I just started peeling mods out. And so what happened yesterday specifically is as we were turning on final in Brussels, then we're going to turn this off so we don't make lines all over the field. We'll go back up top and see if we can put this on a basic worker. As we were turning to Brussels, if your altitude is off by more than 120 feet, if your altimeter setting is off by more than 120 feet, you get a warning via RAAS, R-A-A-S. And I was getting that warning and I was on final. I couldn't stop flying to try to sort that out, but I had turned off, so you can turn on text messages from ATC. And essentially when you go to ATIS to get your weather, you get it delivered visually and by voice. Well, I had turned that off, trying to sort something out. I don't even remember what, but I had turned that off, and so I didn't have visual ATIS. I only had voice ATIS. I want to be over here a little bit. And the radios were turned down super low, and I couldn't hear anything, and everything just kind of went to pieces. So I couldn't hear what the correct altimeter setting was. I thought I had set it when we got ATIS as we got close to Brussels, but I couldn't get the altimeter set, and that warning was not going to stop, and I don't know if it was going to stop even after we landed. And I wanted to go all the way to the gate. Okay, so we are scanning now. So if we put this on a worker, I don't think we can. Let's try it again. Nope, can't put it on a worker. Okay. Yeah, and Ernie, I found a thread. I mean, I know it's a different sim, different title, but I found a thread relating to that Flight Factor 757 that basically said it's great if you only use it by itself. And it was a little snarky. Now I get that when modders or payware developers, when they build their mod, there's no way they can anticipate all the mods you're going to be running. They can't anticipate your system. They just build it. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, sorry. This might not be the mod for you. I totally get that. Oh, hang on. Let's do something before we go any further. So we want to go Control C? No. Alt S? No. Control S? No. Shift C? No. It's one of these. I want to turn on GPS. Is it Alt S? Is it Alt C? Create or load a track. That's what I'm trying to do. It's not Alt S. It's not. There it is. So we want auto width 59 feet. Really? You think this thing is 59 feet wide? Hang on. So we're going to go to garage. What's the width on this thing? It's not 59 feet. Tap, tap. 18 meters, really? Okay, I guess it is 59 feet. All right, let's do it. And what did we, was it Control S? 59 feet. Enable guidance steering. Show lines. We'll go here. A heading, set heading is going to be 180. 180. Set cardinal, back, and then there we go. So I don't disagree with that, but at the same time, like the airports that I got, I bought 6 airports. 2 of them are usable, and the X-Plane store doesn't have much of a refund policy. Now I don't know if it's affiliated with X-Plane. I know it's called the X-Plane store, but I don't know if it's like a part of Laminar. But yeah, they don't have that 2-hour policy. I'll tell you, man, the flight sim community, they're just angry old boomers. They're just like, they're just, nobody's going to rip me off. There's no 2-hour trial period. So it's just money wasted. And then the aircraft that I got, now the 2 tolless Airbus that I got, the 319 and the 321, I think they're fine. But I really just don't like flying Airbus. I find them to be a little too automated. I feel like there's not enough piloting required. So I uninstalled those. I still have them, but it's unlikely I'll ever fly them. And then the 2 Flight Factor, they're just not very good. I find them to be not very good. So I guess what I'm saying is I wasted a lot of money on X-Plane. And what I learned was, you know, a lot of this stuff just, it may work great on its own on like a monster machine, but it may not work great with anything else, and it may not work great on your machine. So it's just sort of one of those buyer beware things. But when it comes to free mods, like a lot of the mods that we have for Farm Sim, I think a modder can only build the mod to work in base game, because they just don't know what your rig is like. They don't know what your mods are like. They'd make themselves crazy trying to build a mod based on, you know, what they anticipate you're using. And I think something like Seasons or Global Company, that's a big enough one. Yeah, it's a little disappointing. It is. It was making the game unstable. It was killing my frame rate. I pulled a bunch of stuff out. Even freeware plugins, I pulled some stuff out. And when I did that leg again this morning. I did it once in the 757 and had problems. There's that camera thing. I did it once in the 757. I had problems. The game crashed just as I got to Brussels. And that is, it's in Flight Sim, I feel like the whole flight is just about that perfect landing. So I uninstalled the 757. I did that leg again in my Rotate MD80, and it was perfect. 60 FPS the whole way, you know, capped at 60, hitting the rev limiter the whole time. And it looks like, if I go behind us here, it looks like there's I mean, we went all the way to the edge of the field, but then in the mini map, it's like we can't, there's a little area here that doesn't scan. Yeah, even though we're right on the edge of the field, there's a little part that's like not scanning. Okay, not a big deal. So the Rotate was the first payware aircraft that I got, and in hindsight, it's probably the only one I should have got. And as far as the airports, that's just a lesson learned. I mean, some of them, I have to say, they haven't been updated in 2 or 3 years. And as Laminar has updated the base game airports, they've become better than the payware airports. So I guess originally the payware airports made sense because the base game airport was not very good. But then Laminar knew that. They updated the base game airport, or a particular base game airport that was not very good. And right now that exceeds the quality of the payware. And then some of the stuff is just, I have to say, it's just bad. It's, I mean, and I've seen the same thing on Truck Sim. I've seen it in Farm Sim, just straight up cash grab. You know, just a terrible mod that somebody, either for the lulz or because they're broke or because they really think they have a great mod, they sell it for 20 bucks or 50 or 138. Okay. You know, good for you. Buyer beware. So I think what I'm learning is in all mods, maybe just keep it simple. So I pulled out a couple of mods out of Farm Sim. We'll see if we can track down what was causing that explosive acceleration. Because I did see it once or twice on Purbeck, and now I've just seen it here. And that's after a clean install. So I would assume, now in fairness, a clean install does, you still have the contents of your save game folder and your My Games, your Farming Simulator 19 folder in My Games and My Docs. So it's not completely a clean install. There could be an input config file. There could be a graphics config file. There could be some stuff in there that may potentially carry over even after you reinstall the game. But I do really want to focus on all gaming, Truck Sim, Farm Sim, X-Plane, on keeping the mods to an absolute minimum. Okay, so that is scanned now, and we'll take a look and see. So we're going to turn this off now. We're going to take a look in precision farming and see what we got. Look at that. So it does do the same thing as the soil sampler. Beautiful, look at that. Okay, that is very cool. You know what, it probably took about the same amount of time, but I just enjoyed that a lot more than going around with the soil sampler. Ernie, I did see that. I posted it on the Discord. I'm super, super excited. It was one of the things that I really liked about the Viper 389 was that you could go with the 3-axle config. And I also like that they're going to have single-axle day cabs, because that is definitely something that you see for like all the UPS, they call them double pups, the small tandems. Those are all hauled by very small sort of day cab style trucks. So I'm very excited to see 3-axle and single-axle on the rear. It's one of the things that I miss the most about camera. One of the things I miss the most about the Viper. I don't know if the Viper's coming back. I'm not running it right now. And I sold mine in-game, so we're not missing it. But yeah, single axles look fun. And man, I wish I could get some... I need a definitive answer on whether or not going with fewer axles decreases the steering radius. I feel like that camera angle flip happens the closer we get to vertical. Like it's not likely to happen when we're back here, but the closer we get to like directly above the vehicle, I feel like that's when it happens. Yeah, I'm excited about the single axles. I think a single axle day cab with a small set of tandems or triples, the 28-foot tandems or 28-foot triples, I think that would look fantastic. Can't wait. And of course, SCS being awesome. It's just free content. You know, they put hours in R&D and development cost into building this stuff, and then they just give it to us for a game that sells for $5 that we all bought years ago. Amazing. They have got the formula. Aw, who dropped a downvote? That's not cool. You're messing with my ratio, man. People are funny. They really are. If I go to a stream and I don't like it, I just leave. What is the point of that? I know YouTube's been talking for years about getting rid of that, but what can you do? So yeah, I'm super, super hyped. I also get, I think some of these downvotes, because they come in waves, right? So like when I'm done here, I'll take a look, and the last 10 videos that I posted will have a downvote. Like so whoever came through and dropped that downvote, they'll go to like my next 8 or 10 videos and drop a downvote on all of them. And in my spam filter all the time, my spam comments filter, I catch these like RussianGirls.ru posts, right? And I report them. They get flagged, they get removed. But I feel like that's the wave that comes through, right? Is when I get on the list of Russian spammers, then I'll get a wave of downvotes. It's not hurting the channel. It's really not. And I think it's funny. It's annoying. I think it's funny. And I also think it's amazing that in 2021, right? Like I get that RussianGirls.ru it's malware, virus, whatever. There are no Russian girls there. I just think it's amazing that anybody could be so stupid that they would think that in 2021, just put the word girls in a website and people will be like, all right, I'm clicking on it, right? Like, I don't know if you're aware of this, but there's pornography on the internet, like all of it. And everybody knows about it. Nobody's like prowling around the internet and they see something like that. Think, wait, whoa, hang on now. You're saying I can see pictures of girls on the internet? Oh, I'm going to that site straight away. So I don't know who these people are. I think they are hilarious though. So it goes, man. That's that YouTube life. .1.4.0 is going to be released very soon. I checked. I have betas turned off right now, and I think I'm actually okay on betas because I'm running so few mods now. I've got like the Sissel trailer pack, the Sissel interior parts, and I've got a bunch of skins, and then just a few light packs. And that's it. I'm not running anything that's really easily sort of crashed out by a beta. So I think I could run the beta, but I don't know if I'm going to. And it seems like I'm just driving randomly here, but I want to get this squared off. This little bit right here, and then we can do some, well, it's not quite enough room to turn, but pretty close. So I went and took a look to see if the beta was up, because that, I mean, if they release a beta, that they typically drop a notice. Hey, Stan, how you doing? They typically drop a notice. I thought maybe I just didn't see it and the 1.4.0 beta was available, but yes, you're right. In any case, you're right. It's going to be released very soon. We got to do another headland here. I'm trying to make these turns and it's just too tight. Let's go around one more time. There we are. Beautiful. I'm excited for it though. Is today the 4th? Tomorrow's the 4th. There is a TSW DLC dropping tomorrow, and I'm not going to get it. I know already I'm not going to get it. I played that Marseille Avignon DLC. I ran through it maybe 6 times, half a dozen times, and I haven't. I mean, that was when that dropped. That was the first time that I had fired up Train Sim World in probably weeks. And after I did a couple runs on the Marseille Avignon LGV, TGV, I haven't started it since. So I really don't spend any time in Train Sim World at all, to the point where I'm thinking about uninstalling it. I've already uninstalled a bunch of DLC and took the footprint on my hard drive from like 300 gig down to about 150. But I think I could probably just get rid of this completely. I don't use it. And I feel like the only reason I'm reluctant to do that is then reinstalling it is 150 gigabyte of writes on an SSD. But yeah, I don't play it. I feel kind of bad. I used to really like Train Sim World, but it's definitely I don't know, just kind of dead to me now. Man, I've really been thinking about what we talked about last Chellington episode, that games evolve, you know, and we evolve as people. So I don't want to feel like locked into any title just because I played it once, right? Like I have to keep playing it, or now I went from 17 to 19, then back to 17. Then this map dropped. Well, Purbeck Valley, in fairness, Precision Farming, Purbeck Valley, and now this map and Maize Plus. And I think, yeah, you know, I like 19 now. I didn't before, but now I do. So it's not really something I need to like sort out or deal with. It's just a video game that I want to play, and then I play it. There's no need to overanalyze it. Because there is a part of me that on one level I think, well, you know, I've sort of been flying the flag for 17. I don't want to just abandon it. And it's like, well, I mean, that's what I did with 15. I don't play 15 anymore. So, yeah, I mean, I put 200 plus hours. I want to say about 250 hours into the Western Shore. And I mean, there are a lot of people that they're not able to play video games 250 hours in a year. They can sneak in an hour here and there, but they're running a business, they got kids, 250 hours, there goes my voice, 250 hours is an entire year of gaming. And I think, yeah, we put 250 hours into that map. Okay. And, now it's time to move on. I mean, we already own 17, so it's not like we put any money into it. The map was free. Okay. And we already own 19, so it's not costing us anything to move forward to this. So why would we not play a title that we own that I like playing? So it's, for me anyway, I think it is possible to overthink it a little bit and overcomplicate it. Just play what you like. Play what works for you. And I think when 19 was still sort of needing repair, 17 worked for me. At the moment, 19 works for me. So let's enjoy ourselves. So we need to put, what are we going to put in this field? I think we're going to put corn in this field. I think we have to. We need corn for the cows. Oh, swung that a little wide. We'll go back and cover that up. We need to put corn in this field, I think, for the cows. And yeah, I sympathize. So I think we need to put corn in here, and we will. And we also need to get a clover field going and an alfalfa field. Now there's a grass field right down the road that is ready to be mowed. I think maybe we did throw lime in it. I don't know whether we did or not. I can't say for sure. Same with fertilizer. So I don't know what kind of yield we're going to get out of it, but we'll get something out of it, right? Oh, it's got weeds in it too. So it needs a little love, but we'll be able to get something out of it. So I think if we harvest that field, then we can immediately start turning it over as either a clover field or an alfalfa field. I don't know if we need both. I don't think we do. Like when I look at Maize Plus, I think it's one or the other. I don't even know if there's any advantage to clover over alfalfa. I'm saying I don't know if you need both, and if it can be either or, and there's no difference between them, then you just pick one. So we'll figure that out. And what else is going on? I thought there was one other announcement that I saw. Yep, that's about it. Sorting out X-Plane. Train Sim World DLC tomorrow. 1.40 is coming soon. New trucks in ATS. Well, new chassis. Try to be reasonable about that. And I'm starting to pull some mods out of 19, see if we can track down some of these problems that we're having. And this is a gigantic field. We're throwing a ton of lime in it, but there's a lime refill right on the other side of that shed right in front of us, so no problem there. Yep, that's all that's going on. Middle of the week already. This week is flying by. It is Wednesday afternoon for me. And I'm going to try to swing this wide and get this little bit that I missed right here. I don't know if I can get all of it, but I think I can get a bunch of it. There we go. And from here, once more up this side. I was kind of missing SnowRunner the other day. And I was thinking, well, if I'd have to get another. I don't know if I'm like banned from Epic Game Store, but I'd have to get another Epic Game Store account. Then I would have to buy SnowRunner again. And the season pass. So what is that, like $60? And the other reason I was thinking is WRC9. Can't switch the planter on. It works with a worker. So you mean like you can't do it manually, but you can do it with a hired worker? Interesting. I've got WRC8. I'm really, really enjoying it, but I don't have WRC9. So I was thinking, well, WRC9 is exclusive on Epic Game Store. I'll get Epic Game Store, and then I'll get SnowRunner again, and then I'll get WRC9. So basically, I will install an app that I don't want on my PC, and then I'll spend $120, and 60 of that will be for a title that I already owned and asked the delivery service to delete. And I was thinking about what we've been talking about, like franchise titles, where nothing changes, you just buy it because they release it. And I think, I mean, WRC9, in fairness, it looks better than WRC8, but it's just new pajamas. It's the same game. And I really like WRC8. I really like the physics in it. I think I like the physics better than the Dirt franchise, or at least Dirt Rally. Doesn't have the same variety, doesn't have the vintage cars. It's more or less just a straight up, it's like the F1 franchise. It's just a straight up representation of the most recent season. So ultimately decided not to do that. I wasted money on X-Plane. I wasted money. I wasted money on a lot of stuff lately. So I need to scale that back. Man, having the channel is getting expensive. There are a lot of expenses. I mean, so the goal would be for the channel to be successful, that it would just grow, you know? I just want it to grow. Statistically, I'm never going to make any money with this. And if I somehow beat the odds and I do make money, it'll be like $50 a month, $100 a month. The odds of me ever making a living doing this, zero. Statistically, zero. So we're doing it for pride. We're doing it because it's fun. But it does cost some money. There's a lot of 10s and 20s per month. And you add it all up and it's like a few $100 a month to keep the channel going. And I don't mind doing it because it is gaming. But when I think about, wasting $120 on the Epic Gaming Store for, like I said, for one title that I already owned and another title that I essentially already have. Yeah. F1 menu up and there's no option to switch it on. I think I must have a conflict. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. I saw F1 menu there and I thought you were talking about the F1 franchise. I do love my F1. I get F1 on the brain periodically. All right, so we got a, what did we get? We got a Kverneland traditional plow. And we're going to bring that up here on the John Deere. And same thing, got to do it backwards. But man, I'm really enjoying, I have to say, I'm really enjoying playing less realistically. And I'm really enjoying not having seasons. I was thinking about seasons. And I was thinking that seasons was so awesome when it dropped because it brought things to the game that weren't in the game. But there was really no competition for it. And there never really has been. Right? So it's not like, hey, what do you run? Do you run seasons? Do you run FS Plus? Do you run, right? There was only ever that one option. So if base game didn't do it for you and you wanted things that seasons had, then you run seasons even if it brings with it other things that you really don't want. But in the same way that Pro Mods felt really sort of important to Truck Sim, to ETS, before the map expanded, I feel like seasons was a really big deal in 17 or in 15 when it was just sort of a rumor, a work in progress. Carefully slide over here. And I believe those are weeds. Are they not? I think those are. Yep, they're not canola. All right, so we'll spray those straight away. So I guess I'm saying seasons, I don't know, with precision farming and now with Maize Plus, I feel like I'm getting a lot of the things that I like about seasons, a lot of the seasons features that I enjoyed, but losing a bunch of stuff that I really didn't like. And one of the things that I didn't like about seasons was it really did, to me, it almost slowed things down too much unless you went to a 3-day season, a 12-day year, and then I felt like all I was doing was feeding animals. So I do like having more control over time and also being able to do whatever I want. Now, I understand that the goal of seasons was so that you couldn't just do whatever you wanted. But you know what I mean? Sometimes I want to do what I want to do. So I like seasons, but I'm really enjoying playing without it. This is really working well for me. All right, so we're going to take this in here. Before I forget, we'll drop off our sensor, and we will... I'm trying to put this, slide this a little bit over to driver's left, so we can get that broadcast spreader out, and we will need that for field 2.9. No, we want to pick that up. We want to drop that. There we go. All right. So back up here, we'll drop this. Come back and grab that sprayer. Take care of... Yeah, I think so. And, you know, even... Well, other than Flight Sim, I'm really not... I've got camera collision turned off as well. Other than Flight Sim, I'm really not gaming a whole lot when I'm not streaming. So Truck Sim, Farm Sim, carefully. Truck Sim, Farm Sim, Kerbal. The only time I'm playing it is when I'm streaming. So I feel like a lot of these, a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about as far as simplifying the game and maybe picking up the pace a little bit, keeping it moving. I feel like that's a lot more of a focus than it was. So we'll grab this. I think this is full. Yeah, this tank is full. And then back tank may be full. We've got a ICB of fertilizer, not fertilizer, the other stuff, herbicide. We've got an ICB, IBC, man, multitasking. We've got an IBC of herbicide. There you go. Sound it out. But we're at 97%. I don't think we'll need it because we won't spray this whole set of tanks on that field. All right, here we go. Carefully, looking at the chat, not looking at the road. And I'm thinking of buying this field right here as well. Field 9. How much is field 9? That could be our alfalfa field. How much is field 9? Ah, it's 2 fields. Nope, just one, but it's got a hedge in the middle. 200 grand. Yeah, we'll hold off on that. We'll wait on that. And I think, yeah, this is the one I always drive down too far and then I have to drive all the way back to it. I think the quickest way to get there is up here. And I really like the detail on some of this new equipment. It really is. The base game equipment is a lot more detailed in 19 than in 17. And you've got the connecting hoses underneath, which I know it's not that big a deal, but it kind of is. I was so disappointed when the Coon Pack dropped and there were no connecting hoses. You're breaking my immersions. Is it not there? How can I never find this field? Is it here? Where is it? Ah! So many cement trucks in Farm Sim World. Here it is. All right. A little bit of crazy driving. This amazes me also that they have not, there's been no patch, because this has been out for a minute, that there's been no patch to address the fact that when you have this sprayer on, it does move the crops even when it's folded up. How is that not fixed? How is that still a thing? All right, so we've got crop destruction 2.0 on. So if we do this right, we will be creating tram lines as we spray. that a thing? Did I just make that up? Hopefully we're not just destroying crop left and right here. Not ideal. Then we will go back to the yard. How are we not killing all the weeds? How are weeds surviving? We'll go back to the yard. We will grab the broadcast spreader, fill it if we have to, take it down to field 2-9, get that first layer of fert down, then go grab the John Deere, put our new plow on it, take that down and get it started, and then do a little mowing. Yeah, we're going to mow the small field that is to driver's left at the moment. See what we get out of that. And I guess, I mean, what do we want to make with it? Gotta love Farm Sim. What was the problem? Did you sort it out? I'm feeling like the weeds that are surviving, I don't know if that's got to do with Maize Plus, but I feel like it does. All right, and then up this side. Yeah, I just think it's amazing they've never fixed it. Ah, okay, so that it catches on. All right. I'm feeling like X-Plane is currently my sim that I take seriously. And that could be why. Could be why I wouldn't say that I'm not taking Farm Sim seriously, but I feel like I'm just enjoying it. And it really has been a minute. It's been something I turned into work. And that was probably not the smart play. All right, so right down here now. No collision on the Scarecrow. Thoughtful. And I fired up Division 2 yesterday. I wanted to get my raid on. And I noticed, so there was like a 5 gig update that came in while I was waiting for that to download. I took a look to see what the patch notes were. And there's a crossover in Division 2 now with Resident Evil. But it's not the monsters, it's the cops. So, I swear, man, that game, it's just, anytime you fire up Division 2, there is just a whole new list of stuff that you're supposed to go chase down. It's just a whole new list of loot that you're supposed to play the game to go find. The whole game is just, it's just loot. That's all you do in Division 2 is just chase after loot. One little corner down here. I cannot think of loot that I'm less interested in pursuing than stuff from Resident Evil. Because that was, I know they just remastered it last year. Did they not? They remastered some version of the franchise, some installment of the franchise. Off the top of my head, I don't know which one, but yeah. Never really been a Resident Evil fan. All right, so this is field 120 over here. How do we want to do this? I mean, I guess we could just leave this right here. No, there's no reason to leave it right here. I don't think we can spray these weeds right now. If we spray them right now, they're not going to die because they're already, like, grown. Is that right? Let's go through here and take a look. I would say with 90% confidence, 95% confidence, probably at least 80% confidence that we can't spray these weeds. Yep. Yeah, fold that up. Not spraying. So we'll take this rig back to the farm. We'll drop it off. Grab the broadcast spreader. We'll go take care of field 2.9. Carefully. We'll go take care of field 2.9 and get the John Deere started, and then we'll mow this grass. I don't think it'll take long. We do have butterfly mowers, so that'll be quicker than the trailed mower. And then we need to figure out what we want to do with it. I would say make silage, as that is the most expensive. Oh, hang on. Hang on. I think our cows just need grass. Our cows just need straight up grass. And they can eat grass from the field, but you also need to put grass in their trough if you want 100% productivity. So let's do that. Let's see if we can just get some straight up grass in there. So we'll mow it, we'll get it rowed up, and then, how do we want to do it? I guess we'll just take one, how are we going to pick it up? I guess we can just take one, whatever, one length down there, see if it even accepts it, and what kind of, trees, what kind of volume it puts in the trough. So if one length is, I don't know, 10,000 liters, and that's half the trough, then we know one more and we're done. If it's like 2%, then we can just put the whole field in the trough. But let's take one down first and see if it even accepts it. I think it will, because it's wet grass or something. All right, so this is here. Put this back in the corner so we have some extra room. And like so. And I'm going to wait to fill the broadcast spreader because I did see, it looked like we went through some triggers next to the shed where the lime refill point is. It looked like there were some triggers down there, so I want to see. If there's a way to refill. I mean, I don't mind delivering stuff to the yard, but you know what I mean. It's not exactly legit. Not 100%. This thing has 1,600 liters in. Let's see what we get down there. And if it's not a fill point for fertilizer, then we can just have it delivered to that yard. Don't hit the gate. And this map is so big. We've barely begun to expand. I don't know how hard it's going to be to make money on this map. We are making wool. We are making milk. But I feel like our cows are just going to eat and eat and eat. We're going to have to focus all of our fields really on animal food. I think. I mean, if not completely, then a whole lot. But we'll see how the animals do. And we've got our sunflowers. Man, I'm so disappointed about Proceed. I give up. I uninstalled it. I don't know what the deal is. But that is, I mean, it's odd. Let's try to get on our side of the road here. It's odd because the areas that aren't growing look like they're seeded. And they represent an area that was in front of the direct drill. So in theory, right, the drill would have just gone over the areas that the tires impacted. Right, so this does say open cover. Nope. Hang on, I saw something just popped on and popped off. Lower first spread. Unload. Showing up there. Can we unload to this tank? What? I'm very confused. Let's just try to fill. What happens if we do that? Nothing. All right, so it looks like we can unload here. Deactivate automatic application. I don't. Hang on. Start filling. Is it fuel? It might be fuel. Okay. All right. Maybe that's what I saw. Now, is that listed as a... Yep, that's what it is. Okay. There's a fuel tank there. I saw the other tanks next to it and thought there was... Yep. You're right, Ernie. All right, so we're going to go here. Throw our delivery point right there. And we want... let's start with 1. If we run out, we can get more. There we go. Right, let's do the same thing we did with the other. And we are fixing to plow this field and cultivate and everything, so we can drive on it a little bit, not a big deal. Glad we got that sensor working. I assumed that it did something, but at the same time, I thought it's possible that it's just a, I don't know, kind of a gimmicky mod, but it looks like it does what it's supposed to do. All right, so we want to go here and then here. Yep. So we'll go here. Auto width, very wide. And then we want set A0. Back. It's just about right. All right, here we go. I know we got a little bit of overspray, but as the edge of the field goes in and out, I think we'll at least get all the way out to the very side. And this field is very thirsty. I don't know if you can see how red it is down there in the mini-map, but it is desperately needing fertilizer. So we may go through this whole tank. We can get more, though. Go back to the yard and get more. I don't know when our sunflowers are going to be ripe, or when we'll be able to harvest those. I would guess tomorrow morning. We've got crop speed on normal, but without seasons, crops are ready. I mean, it doesn't take long at all. Having played with seasons so much the past couple of years, it really is different to play without seasons. And I do like it, but I feel like it's just, I don't know. Things change, things evolve. Games evolve, playstyle evolves. So we've got a combine harvester. We need to get a header for it. I believe we've got a serial header now. The folding Cresoni serial header. So we'll need to get a sunflower specific header. And I think in 17 you could use a corn header for sunflowers, but in 19 you cannot. I think that sounds right. That sounds like a thing. So we'll have to get another one. Probably buy it. Oh. Hang on, our wheat field down here is full of weeds too. All right, well, I mean, not that bad. We're gonna have to get our herbicide rig going down here again now too, but not a big deal. All right, little wiggle waggle there. Shake and bake. All right, let's put this back on guidance steering. And yeah, I think we'll be able to finish with what we put in the broadcast spreader, just barely. It'll be pretty close, but I think we'll get it all with one filling. So now this field we can start to plow on this field and move on to other things. In fact, let's do that, because the weeds aren't going to get completely out of hand. Let's go ahead and get the John Deere going on this, and then we can do some weeding and some mowing. Yeah, I agree, Ernie. And I think I mean, I love that modders have taken it to the extent of, instead of just moving some buildings around or, modding some scripts, what if we like radically alter the lighting of the game? What if we make it look completely different? So I really do like the ambition that some modders have. And I think that works, well, sort of what I'm going through in X-Plane. I think that works right up to the limit of, hey, what if we try to radically change what this game is intended to do? And I feel like that's when, I mean, you can't end up with a Los Santos Police Department. But things can also, I think, go pretty terribly wrong. And when the mod that you end up with then becomes like a kind of a work in progress, kind of a beta, we just need to keep testing this, maybe we can sort it out, that sort of thing. That's when I feel like it's just, to me, it's just so frustrating. And I wonder sometimes, like, how far does it go? At what point do you admit that what you're trying to do with your mod is just not possible? Would be great if it was, but it's just not going to work. So right through there. And like we were talking about last stream with Proceed, I like what Proceed does, but it really doesn't do a whole lot. It just makes tram lines, which I think they look fantastic in crops like canola. But that's really all it does. Courseplay does a few things. Seasons does a few things. But there's some mods that really only do one very small thing. So if it becomes a question of, do I want this mod running at the expense of this complication in my game, or do I just want to uninstall that mod? I think for something like, carefully, trying to drive a straight course here. For something like Proceed, it's obvious. I'm just going to disable this. It doesn't do what it does do what I need it to do, but it comes with so many complications that it's not even worth it. So as much as I've really enjoyed Seasons the past couple of years, I think maybe the game has sort of overtaken it, or at least the game with Maize Plus has overtaken it. Maybe that's a better way to say it. Straight base game, and definitely straight base game FS19 at least. The condition that FS19 was in on release day, I think there's no question that 17 was a superior product. But I did see a lot of people say then, and it's valid, and I agree with it now. I did see a lot of people saying, well, you're talking about FS17 heavily modded. Hang on. Flutes. Let me get rid of these flutes. There we go. You're comparing FS17 heavily modded to FS19 day one release. Not only is it not modded, but it's a day one release. And in this era, day one is, you know, it's going to be an 80% game, a 90% game. There are very few games, I think, in this era, past few years, very few games that are released that are absolutely spot on day one. So you're comparing that to heavily modded 17. Of course it doesn't compare. Give it a minute. And I think we did. I mean, the fact that I'm playing 19 again sort of confirms that. Sure, I'll give it a try. I'll give any game a try. I'll try Cattle and Crops. You know, for all the drama that has gone on between myself and the developers, I'll give Cattle and Crops a try. Carefully. Let's try not to make that turn too tight. I ran it wide into the bushes. I'll give Cattle and Crops another try, of course. And it could be amazing. It could be more of the same. You know, I won't know till I try it. So 19 disappointed me, but it's come around. But every time I say that, I need to stress that I'm different too. You know, I've evolved a bit too, because it's been 2 years since 19 dropped, and I've only been back in gaming for 4 years. So I'm definitely a different player than I was when 19 dropped. All right, let's get this hooked up. We're not going to take it down there yet, but let's get this hooked up and filled up. And then we'll hop in the John Deere and do some work in another tractor, because we've been spending the whole episode, a little bit over an hour we've been in the same vehicle. Let's do something a little different. I think just about every piece of kit we have on the farm right now is from the Kverneland pack. I'm really, really enjoying it. All right, so we're going to come over here. Yep, there's our tank. I need to empty this thing out so we can get rid of it. Are we full? Are we not full? There we are. So we're 100% full. The tank's not quite empty. We'll get rid of it. All right. Park that up right there. So this is our new traditional plow that we got from the Kverneland pack. And it's got some little gizmo on the side of it. I don't know. When I buy stuff from the implement store, I tend to just add everything. I figure a lot of this stuff isn't functional anyway, so why not have some fun? All right. So that hooked up. Are we folded? Better. There we go. Completely folded. I'm really liking the animations on some of the new equipment. I feel like the animations are a lot more sophisticated than they used to be. Plow and cultivate at the same time? Hell yeah, that's what I was looking for. I thought that's what it did. It looks like it's off to the side, but I figured, I mean, what else could it do than cultivate? All right, right up here, and we need fuel. Oh, we can get fuel down there. We just found our fuel point right by field 29. Oh, we're okay. So I was realizing I add these static sensor bars. They're just decorative sensor bars that I add to the roof of not all my tractors, but a lot of them. I wonder if there would be a way to script the sensor Lua, right, into the tractor itself so that this thing would finally work the way it's intended to, and you could scan any field as you were driving. I mean, it sounds easy. I don't think it would be that easy. But, I mean, it might be. I guess it would be as simple as GPS, where there wouldn't necessarily be... So right now we have key commands to fold and unfold the plow, to lift and lower the plow, that sort of thing, where it's an actual thing that is on the tractor. And the sensor, right, we have key commands to lift it, lower it, etc. But I guess you could just put it in there separately the way the GPS mod is. So use this key combo and your sensor is on, right? I'm curious now. Is there a way to do that? I mean, I'm sure there is. And when I say, is there a way to do that, I guess what I'm saying is, can I do that? Can I figure that out? But I'll take a look. All right. There's fuel. Close enough. Not full, but close enough. All right, so we're going to unfold this. We no longer have a smart worker. But this is what I would like to try to do. I'd like to try to use this thing the way it's intended to be used. All right, and we want to activate the packer. Activate, I said. There we go. Activate the packer. All right. Oh, I see what it does. So the packer acts on the length that you just did previously. I couldn't figure it out because the packer is to the side of the plow rather than behind it. I had no idea how that worked, but now it makes sense. So the row that we're about to work on here. The row that we're about to work on with the plow will get hit by the cultivator texture next pass. Yep, I think that's what we're after. All right, so we want to be on 180. We are. We only have dumb workers now. We no longer have smart workers. Oh, I'm so nervous right now. Farm Sim, come through for me. Oh, hang on. Before we do that, let's do... not that. Let's do this. Let's go here. Let's do that. Let's do that. And then let's go here. Differentials and hired worker. Does that sound about right? Sounds about right. All right, dumb worker. Here we go. And we are going to have to follow this for a couple cycles just to confirm that it's operating. I'm concerned about the packer being so close to the side of the field that it... Nope, it's going to be okay. It looked like it was hesitating for a minute. But it's okay. So we'll let this go a couple cycles just to confirm that it's turning where it's supposed to. And I guess, how do we want to do this? So we will, So when it comes time to do our headland, how are we going to know what's... I mean, I guess we could see what hasn't been touched at all. Will definitely need to be plowed, but like this texture right here, it's cultivated, but it hasn't been plowed yet. Or has it? Did they code it in so that... Did they code it in so that if you hit it with the plow or the packer? Nope, they did not. So, okay, we can just cheat in here. I think once it makes its turn, the length, this length right here is just plowed. This length is just cultivated. Once it makes its turn, this length will be plowed and cultivated, and the one next to it will just be plowed. All right. I mean, it's going to take a minute either way because it's a pretty big field and that's a pretty small plow. But we will save a little time that we won't have to cultivate it all manually. Where are you going, buddy? Where are you going? It's okay, you can turn around. Where are you going? What is happening right now? I mean, I wouldn't say this is a square field, but it's pretty damn square. At least this part of it. I mean, look at this. This is what we're working with here. I mean... I don't know what's going to happen. I have a feeling we're going to end up doing this field manually. I don't understand. Unless it's going to back then all the way... Whoa, Jesus. Unless it's going to back all the way to the backside of the field. Really? Oh, God. Oh, game. I mean, I feel sometimes like if they eliminated the hired workers altogether, it would not hurt my feelings, because at least there wouldn't be an option for them to screw things up. Yeah, I suppose you could not use them. Just never use the... What in the world? You could just never use the hired workers. But I feel like they're so inept in anything other than a perfectly square field with, I don't know, 200 to 300 feet of grass verge. Anything other than that, they just absolutely panic. So we will follow this... We'll follow this to the end of this next row. And if it doesn't get itself together, then we'll have to do this field manually. Potus, what's happening? How you doing? I'm trying to do everything without Courseplay and advanced AI. I had some problems after I went off camera last stream. One of my tractors kind of went berserk. Same thing that happened in Purbeck Valley with the Ford T-Dub. So I'm sort of working my way through what possible mod could have caused that. Courseplay, Courseplay, I have to say, is... There are times when Courseplay is no better than advanced AI or just basic AI. Courseplay hits a lot of trees. And again, that's something that I can look at as a gamer and say, well, you know, can't you just fix that? And it seems there's more to it than that, because they've been working on that mod for, it's got to be 3 or 4 years. Longer than that. 4 or 5 years Courseplay has been around. Alright, so we're into the fat part of the field now. I think we can turn this thing loose. Hopefully we only have to fix, like, I don't know, a couple of lengths. Yeah, I noticed that there were a few angles on Purbeck Valley that were pretty rough on the FPS. All right, back to the farm. And what was our next task? We were going to spray weeds in our wheat field and then get some mowing done. Yeah, and even on this map, like, we're at 44 right now. If we look up at the sky, then we go right back to the rev limiter. But I do feel like these big maps with a lot of detail. Purbeck Valley threw me off a little bit. Well, any Seasons map does, because when you start, there's no leaves on the trees, so you're picking up a few FPS, maybe 5, 10 FPS. And then once spring hits, right, it's like getting kicked in the balls. Oh, what happened to my frame rate? So it's always a balance. Anywhere between 45 and 60, I'm happy. I cap most of my games at 60. I don't need to be above 60. My refresh rate is 60, so there's no reason to be. But even if I was on 120 refresh monitor, I don't feel a need for that. I mean, if you're playing like competitive Counter-Strike or something, maybe you need that, but I don't need that. 60's fine for me. So we want, what did we say? We want the Aryan, which is right there. Beautiful. Let's go get our wheat field sprayed. And while we're down that way, we can see how the John Deere is doing. Man, I hope we don't have to spend a lot of time cleaning up that field. Oh, also, I don't know who's in the chat right now, but if you like to type long words or strings of emojis or that sort of thing, I had Nightbot, and I used to joke about Nightbot. I forgot I actually do have Nightbot running, but I reconfigured it a little bit, and I just went with the default settings for caps, repeating characters, and emojis. So if you do like to communicate that way, I don't think too many of you do, but if you do like to communicate that way, Nightbot is running, so if you get a warning or anything, it's nothing personal. But we gotta, you know what I'm saying? Gotta keep the chat clean. All right, so we'll get these weeds sprayed. And yeah, that seems to be doing a little bit better. And anything that's a little bit off, we can go back in and clean it up manually. All right, so we'll get this wheat field sprayed. Only reason I put wheat in down here is so we can keep making straw, because I feel like we're going to need straw bales for both the sheep and the cows. Right. And here. I'm curious to see, since we did not use Proceed on these fields, I'm curious to see what Crop Destruction 2.0 looks like as far as tire tracks. Since we're just driving around a planted field with Nokian. I don't know what kind of damage we're doing, if any. I was under the impression you could drive on a seeded field without causing any damage at all. And what I'd like to see, I don't know if this is even possible, but what I'd like to see is like a scale of crop destruction, where if you drive on a seeded field, it reduces the yield, but it doesn't kill it. If you drive on a sprouted field, it reduces the yield more, but it doesn't kill it. And then if you drive on a field with more developed plants, like taller plants, then it does kill them. So many flutes on Spotify. I think we can, yeah, we can mow this, knock it out right quick. And how are we going to pick it up? I mean, we could just pick it up with a bucket. That's not much fun. It's affordable. It's not much fun. I don't think we need to get into... I think I've got the 4D Lely Trailed Foragers installed, so we could use one of those. I don't know if we need to, though. I guess we just go with a loading wagon. All right, let's take a look and see if we've got one in either the Cavernaland pack or the Alpine Farming pack. But we'll get some of that loaded up, take it down to... I think we can feed it... We can definitely feed it to the cows. I think we might be able to feed it to the sheep as well, although they're both supposed to eat from their own pasture. So I don't know that we necessarily need to. Like, it doesn't show anything in the trough, but I feel like they may still be eating grass. If you've got any insight on that, let me know. flip a big turn here. All right, and I think, yeah, we can probably get the whole width of this in one length, one pass. All right, so wheat field is sprayed. And I don't know how many bales we're gonna get out of this. We got a decent amount from the fields that were already planted when we started the map. We got a decent amount of straw bales. I think 18, like 36 total. And we've still got a few of those left. So we're not hurting for straw at the moment, but the animals, like I said, they're just gonna use a ton of straw and a ton of hay, so we need to get them taken care of. Right through there. Carefully. And I think, try to remember where I am on the map. I think there's a gate right down here that we can close. Yep. So there's that one. We've got that great big tank on the front. We've got a weight on the front too. It still feels, this tractor feels light in the front. There's the tank slapper. I feel like it needs a steering damper. I've tried a lot of different settings in that realistic steering mod. Haven't quite found the sweet spot yet. It's better, but it's not 100% yet. All right, so the butterfly mowers that we got do have a swather built in. So we won't need to rake, and that'll save us some time. And we're not baling or anything, so that'll save us some time. Uh-huh. There's a post here that I don't want to run into. There's that one. And we're okay over here. And then the broadcast spreader is right there. Right. So now, fast track. We'll go grab our mowers. We can run our mowers with the fast track, right? Moment. Other moment. I feel like the fast track and the John Deere are both 280. Is that right? 280 and 290. And our mowers are, what do they require? 280. Perfect. Got that right there. All right. And we get into this field. This is the field we cut through to get to the field we sprayed for weeds. So we know how to get to this one. Maybe. And yeah, we're good on fuel. I'll fill up off camera. We've got enough to get the field done at least. And we go here. I can never find the entrance to this field. Carefully. All right, that was exciting, but we made it. Here we go. And we do, yep, we do own this field. I knew we did. It's on, it may be on Mod Hub. It's definitely on Modding Velt. It's the Bone Crusher, and then the nitrogen sensor, the GPS aerial, and the light bar up front are my own edits. So if you do see the Bone Crusher, it won't look like this. So we want to, let's pull up a little bit more. Fold that. And then we want work mode. We want, there we go. Swathing to the center. Swath dropping. Okay. So on. Oh, so stuttery right now. What is happening? Why is it stuttering like that? I don't think this field is fertilized. I don't think it's got lime on it. And it's got a ton of weeds, and we're throwing down like a crazy swath right now. All right, I'm not complaining. It's so weird to be off seasons and see a field. Like, we just planted that end of the last episode, and we just sprayed it for weeds a minute ago. And it's already starting to sprout. Canola we planted in there. It's already starting to sprout canola. It just happens so fast. I know it's not realistic, but it is fun. And I'd like to do something. Yeah, let's try something here. So we're not driving back and forth over this repeatedly. Let's go ahead and turn everything off and fold everything up. Pull this over to the side here. And see if there's a loading wagon that we can pull with the little claws. So we want to go here. Single axle, double axle, 26,000, 130 horsepower. We could pull either one of these with the little claws. Let's do it. And to buy this thing, 70 grand. We have 72,000. Beautiful. Let's spend all our money. Hey, I got a question for you too. If we go here to pallets, we have, where is it? The Luprasil tank. Luprasil is used to reduce the secondary fermentation. It is added directly to the mill. What mill? I haven't been able to find a mill. Oh God. Now we're negative 500. Oh, why am I always broke in this game? I don't know where to add that Luprasil. And I also, I also forgot. Oh, you know what? We can reset it. I think it's down by the lime purchase point. Let's do that before I forget. Let's reset that. And then if we go here. Where is our... I don't even know. That's that. I don't even know where our loading wagon that we just got, I don't even know where I had it delivered to. Damn it, man. We gotta find it. It's not, I thought it was over here. Can we reset it? We have to physically be able to see it to reset it. I don't think it's anywhere there. It's not there. I want to say it's like right under here somewhere. There it is. Okay. So this will put it in the sheet metal, will it not? Yes. Okay. All right. So now we can go pick it up. All right. And we did throw some fuel in this thing, so we're okay there. Camera's a little bit exciting. And how are we doing on wool? Not making a ton of wool. For 100% productive sheep, we're not making a ton of wool. But they definitely need a ton of food. All right, so if we look, in fact, we can do that right now. If we look at animals, so wet grass windrow, grass clover windrow, fresh maize. It looks like we can just feed them straight grass. And then for the sheep, wet grass windrow, but they also take hay pellets. So we were able to use our hay pellets that we made with straw harvest. We were able to use those instead, but they'll take just regular grass as well. All right, back up top. I read through the PDF on Maize Plus. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot to figure out. I bought a CCM bale. I wasn't sure if that was fresh corn, but it's not because I couldn't deliver it to the cows. So it's just a kind of a steep learning curve. It's not a bad thing. I'm looking forward to figuring all this stuff out, but there's really a lot to learn about it. I feel like there's more to learn about Maize Plus than there was to learn about Seasons. I'm not comparing. I'm not saying one of my kids is my favorite. I don't mean it like that. But there's definitely a lot of complexity to it. And I think it can definitely go both ways when it comes to that type of complexity in a mod. I know some of the global company stuff, it felt like complexity just for complexity's sake. Like, let's just continue adding fill types and scripts, and, you know, it just seems like cut and paste. Cut and paste a line, change a couple values, cut and paste a line, change a couple values, and just stretch it out. But it's not really doing anything. It's not making the game any better. It's just making it complex for complexity's sake. But Maize Plus feels like it's very thoughtfully put together. Corn cob mix. Okay. I thought it was like some company name or something. All right. Yeah, okay, that makes sense for pig food. Man, the pigs are so far away on this map. And I know we can buy pigs, but I'm so careful about like placing anything in 19 because it's even though it's better, I feel like placing structures is still just the terrain destroyer mode. I feel like it just ruins everything. Like, I always back up my save game and save it to desktop. Like, I copy the entire folder, save it to desktop. Jesus. Save it to desktop. And then do whatever terrain changes I want to do. Because most of the time, I would say easily like 3/4 of the time, whatever you're trying to do, as simple as it may be, it ends up destroying the map, and you have to go back to your save game. I've got nothing but good things to say about this map. I have no complaints, but if you were asking, I would say he could maybe back down the speed and spawn rate of traffic on some of those smaller roads. Like that little road right there seems to have a lot of cement trucks going very, very fast. I don't know that that's entirely accurate. I mean, if anything, I would say that traffic belongs on the main road through town, but it could be the reason he left it off that road is because that's where you spend a lot of your time. But I totally get that traffic in Farm Sim has always been problematic, to say the least. And I feel like it's not a traffic simulator, it's a farming simulator. We need traffic, because without it, the maps just look completely dead. But I don't think traffic is ever going to be great. And we may need to turn the power off, go to the top of this hill, and then come back at it. Caden, what's happening? Yeah, the placeable terrain has been, from day one, it's just been very odd. I feel like they really had to make a compromise for console players to make that work. They had to have something that was completely like controller based, no mouse and keyboard. And it really suffered as a result. Same with the livery editor in Train Sim World. To the point where that livery editor, I would say they would have been better off just not doing it at all. It's that bad. But it's a console game, you know. A lot of these games are primarily console games. And so that's the functionality that needs to be included. So that is 26,000. Let's see if the cows will take this and what percentage of their trough it fills. And then we'll keep working on this field. And I think as soon as the field's done, rather than throwing down lime or fertilizer or anything else, I think we're going to plow it under because this needs to be planted with either clover or alfalfa. My dream is to see kind of a light version of Giants Editor in-game, where you go to edit mode and it essentially fires up Giants Editor. I know that could only happen on PC. I'm not saying it's a perfect fix, but it's a light copy of Giants Editor where you can do things like place buildings and do some very limited terrain sculpting and painting. It does have Control-Z for undo, and then once everything is the way you want it to be, then you hit save, and only then does whatever you placed become part of the terrain. But it wouldn't work for console, so it won't work at all. But I would think that would be a good compromise. And we're going to need to go in cab here, because I do have camera collision turned on, and it gets a little weird through the trees. When I see the amount of food that these cows eat, it really does. There's got to be compression in games. Got to compress time, money. You need to distort things a little bit to make the game playable, to make it fun. But it's amazing coming from Seasons to see how much they eat. Yeah, I agree, Ernie. I agree, and I think that's also something that Cattle and Crops is going to have to deal with, because that console market, as consoles get better and better, I left the gate open. Damn it, man! Get back in there. Look at this cow. She is looking at the gate like, oh, I could totally make it. I could totally make it. Consoles are so good now. I think there's some people that play console, reverse that. There's some people that play PC games for the titles or for the mods or for the this or the that or whatever, but I feel like there were a lot of people that over the years have played PC. It flickered. They played PC for the quality. Right? You couldn't get that same render on a console. But now you can. All right, let's see what we can fit in here. And I am going to hop out here. Yep, that thing does not lift. It's got a belt or something that empties it out. Okay. Keep dumping. Is it full? It is not full. It's not even almost full. What were we saying about great triggers? There it goes. I think there were people that were playing PC just for the quality. And with 8th generation consoles now, it's like consoles are as good or better a render than PC. And it's so much easier. It's so much easier for a lot of types of gaming. Maybe not for sim gaming, but for a lot of types of gaming, just go console. You know, make your life easy. And developers need to keep that in mind. Publishers need to keep that in mind. To make a game that is PC only in 2021, I wouldn't say you're like cutting your own throat, but you know, you're walking away from a lot of money. Some titles can't be on console. Just the nature of the code, they can't be on console. But for everything else, I feel like, I mean, even look at Flight Simulator. That game, it's not a console game. And I don't know that it's going to have legs on console. I don't know that anybody that bought that game to fly loop-de-loops on console is still playing it. I think it was $60. Played out, done. Maybe some people still are. But for serious sim pilots that are playing that game on PC or that want to play that game on PC, you know, the fact that it was included on console at all is a bit of a mystery. Well, it's not a mystery. It's money. It's just a lot of money. So it wouldn't surprise me if the bulk of the sales of that game were on console, even if those people are done playing it now and have moved on to other things. But who's going to walk away from millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars? Yeah, and I know I've said this before. I don't like repeating myself, but when I saw some of the streamers that were streaming Flight Sim before it dropped, they weren't Flight Sim streamers. They were the shouty kind of streamers, you know, wig and sunglasses kind of streamers. And people in the chat were telling them to, you know, do loops in the 747, and they were, and everybody was having a great time. So I'm all about gaming however you want to. And if you want to fly in Flight Sim third person and do loops in the 747, good for you, man. It's your console. It's your money. I want you to play it the way you want to play it. But it certainly does complicate things for serious PC sim gamers to know that their title is being diluted by design for money. You know, and that's one of those very awkward realities. It's like, well, if we don't sell it on console, we won't stay in business. So we can either dilute your title and it makes its way to console, or we can stop making the game entirely. Those are the only two options. And that's a tough one. Try to stay way out to the left here so we don't get tagged again. And I respect that. You know, I've worked with business owners that have been very upfront with me about how terrifying it is to have people on payroll. I mean, I've worked with and for some tremendous a-holes that hated their employees and really made no secret of the fact that they would replace them with robots if they could. But I've also worked with decent people who have been like on the verge of tears talking about the pressure they feel, knowing that 60 people count on them to keep running their business properly so they can pay their mortgage, so they can feed their kids, you know, and that it just weighs on them more than their own success and their own retirement and the success of their own business. The thing that weighs on them the most heavily is knowing that if they make a bad choice, it may complicate someone's ability to feed their children. And that's a very serious thing. So if you're a development studio, if you're a publisher, and you have 50 employees or 100 employees, right? You may be all about serious PC sim gamers, but it's not just that you have bills to pay. The people that work for you have bills to pay, and you've got to do what's best for your company. So I don't fault anybody for making a game that's strong on the console side at the cost of the PC side. And, you know, that's the way it goes, man. It's not ideal, but at the end of the day, it's just pixels. Yeah, that's exactly it, Ernie. And that's one of those that's one of those things that, you know, when you hear somebody saying, you know, it sucks that it's like this. Too bad it's not like this. Not just in gaming, but in anything. You know, a thoughtful person is going to hear that and say, well, have you really considered all the implications? You know, I used to live very close to Disneyland. And Disneyland was sort of my local amusement park. We could get to Disneyland actually driving door to door, we could get there in about 20 minutes. But from the time we decided to go, you know, getting ready, and once you get there, it takes a minute to get into the park, but we could be in Disneyland in an hour or two, which is amazing. People plan trips like that for a long time. They wait their whole life to go to Disneyland. I used to go all the time. And the thing that I realized about Disneyland, what makes it so special is, you have to leave. Because there have been plenty of days that I've been at Disneyland and just like, I'm over it. But because it's so easy to come back, not a big deal. I don't feel any pressure. But the idea of, living at Disneyland, because there are apartments in the park. There's sort of secret apartments in the park, places where people have lived over the years. One of them, I believe now, is it's like a perk, right? They'll donate it via Make-A-Wish, or if somebody that works for Disney does something incredible, they will get to stay in this amazing apartment. And there's a few of them scattered around. But you think, oh, it'd be so cool to live in Disneyland. Yeah. Have you thought this through? So I think when people have ideas about the way they want it to be, a lot of it is just, it's just bar talk. I don't think they're serious. I don't think they really expect it to be that way. But at the same time, have you really considered the implications? And I think a good one is, Giants needs to focus exclusively on the PC player, or this developer needs to do this. And it's like, yeah, that's what you want them to do for you. But have you thought about all the implications? Have you thought about what that would do to the title? Have you thought about what that would do to the company? So there's, I may not agree with everything Giants does, but I don't think they're idiots. They're running a successful business in a competitive market. They're not that dumb. So sometimes things don't work out for us. Our personal, whatever our personal thing might be that we want, we don't get it. But there's so many titles right now. It's really difficult for me to be unhappy about any aspect of gaming. There are some micro frustrations. What I've been going through the past few days with X-Plane, and finally realizing I broke my own game. I just need to pull a lot of these plugins out, get rid of a lot of the payware. Get rid of a lot of the payware, and the game will run fine again. And I did that, and it seems to be running a lot better. So that's a micro frustration. That's not like a systemic, There are whole channels that I know of. They're fun, but essentially it's a person just complaining about video games. And there's one channel that's a person who just complains about one video game. That's it. That's their entire channel. They just play this game and hate on it. And they've got a couple 100,000 subs. Okay. I wish I had a couple 100,000 subs. But the content does seem to be, there's hate watching, right? When you watch a show, or when you watch the news just to get upset. I guess there's hate gaming. Because I can't imagine why you would still have a title like that installed. There's so many other titles to play. Why do you do that to yourself? So if FS21 moves in a completely different direction and doesn't do it for me, stick with 19. Move on. Play something else. People do love drama, you're right. And one of the reasons that I have focused on building the channel to be really just a straight up extension of my personality is I never wanted to create a character or a persona, and it starts to make money, and I'm locked into it. And now I have to go on Twitch every day and do something I absolutely despise for money. It's when we're here in the stream, when we're hanging out, when I'm gaming, it's just straight up me. I don't need to remember anything. I don't need to act a certain way. I'm just being myself. So the idea of doing something that I don't like, or that doesn't come natural to me, just because people watch me do it, or because it can make me money, that would be terrible. That would be so terrible. So I don't know if that person is sincere. They really do hate that title, or if they did it one time and the video got 100,000 hits and they were like, oh shit, all right, I guess I gotta keep doing this now. I don't know. I really don't. I mean, there are a lot of people in the world that hate their job, so you gotta maintain some perspective. But it is baffling. You're right. We'll get this parked up. Where are we at on time? I haven't even looked. Coming up on 2 hours. Let's get the rest of this grass down to the cows and the sheep. We make a right here, do we not? Oh, traffic. We will get the rest of that grass road up. Go first person here. We'll go down and check on the John Deere. It may be done by now, and I just didn't see the note come in. But I will finish up. You know what? I won't. I was going to say I'll finish that field up myself off camera, but I won't. What I'll do is save it till the next episode, and we will... Because we got one layer of fert on it, and we got lime on it, so we can seed it now. It doesn't need any more fert. So I will... Ooh, easy. I'll finish prepping that next stream. So we'll get this grass road up, and then we'll get a cultivator going in our grass field. Get that turned under, and we'll plant it with, not today, but at some point we'll plant it with alfalfa. Or clover. All right. Carefully. Perspective. Always the perspective. There we go. And then back out here. And I think we can unfold this. I think I got in the habit of making 17 really, really grindy. And it was just a habit. Right? Like I had forgotten there was any other way to play, so that's just the way I played. But this more wide open style is a lot more fun. I feel like we're getting a lot more done too. All right, back across the highway, fill this thing up. And we can, let me take a look at the map. Yep, looks like the John Deere stopped. So we'll get the rest of this grass picked up, get a cultivator started, go down to take a look at the John Deere, last thing, and then we'll call it. There we go. Parkour the hedge. I was watching Casino Royale the other day. The new one, not the old one. And you can tell whatever was popular in the world by watching a James Bond movie. You can see what was popular that year. Because that movie is parkour and Texas Hold'em poker. You know, like they played all the big European casinos. They're playing that Texas Hold'em. But that parkour scene... I guess people were really into that. I feel bad for people that were into parkour before parkour was a thing, and they're still into it. Or like if you had a man bun before everybody was rocking a man bun, and now you still have a man bun. Because nobody knows you were all about the man bun early days. You just look like somebody who hasn't gotten rid of their man bun yet. I think we can swing this around. Maybe. Maybe. Come on. think the amount of realism that you get from VCA is just about perfect. It's not as ball busting as more realistic, but it does add some nice weight to it. Yeah, exactly. Oh, hey, look, that guy grew a trendy beard, and it's like, no, fool. Look at the length, man. Look at the fullness. I've been working on this for years. And I'm going to deadhead around back up to the top of the field, because I feel like we're just low enough on power. It's taken a little bit too long to get up this hill with the PTO. And I would guess headland was 3/4 of a headland was 26,000. So I'm thinking we'll need to come back up here at least once more, maybe twice. Maybe 3 times. Maybe a little bit more. There's a lot of grass up here. But 26,000 didn't even take the cows out of the red. At least for grass. They need so much food. Now, how long does that last? I know in seasons it was 3 days. If you took all the troughs and all the water to 100%, it would last 3 full days. But I feel like with seasons turned off, days really don't mean anything. So I'm curious how long that's going to last. I mean, I know at some point, because I remember playing 15 without seasons, and I know at some point you can get out in front of it to the point where everything just goes sort of berserk, where you've got like hundreds of thousands of liters of crops, all crops in storage. All your fields are constantly coming due to be harvested, and you can buy 250 cows. Just crazy amounts of productivity. Go back in here first person. I did notice at least on the cow shed, the trough trigger is a little bit finicky if you're hauling a trailer, if you're trying to dump a trailer in there. I noticed that with the Broen trailer as well, when we were dumping the hay pellets in there. It sort of flickers on and off. Yeah, yeah, same, Ernie. I can't even remember. And I don't know if it's day, because I feel like with being able to speed up crop growth, like you can harvest crops every day, like every sun cycle that represents one day. You can be harvesting crops every single day. Or you can turn crop growth off, get everything planted, and then turn it to fast, get everything ready to harvest, and then turn it back down again and bring it all in. So I feel like because you can manipulate the crop growth, but you can't control the animals. Open, I said. Yeah, this is the same problem I've been having. I guess I need to delete my input config and try again. I don't think I have a lot of custom configs that would need to be rewritten, but maybe I'll try that. I feel like I don't know. It's sensing something that's not there. And I know I've got a lot of control devices plugged in, but I don't remember it ever doing this before. All right. So right there, I mean, not realistic, but that's not flickering. So if we empty this right here, it just goes straight in. So 2 of these takes us out of the red, maybe? Nope, not even out of the red. All right. And I'm trying to think if there's a flat area. I didn't see any placeable areas, like per se. I think there might be a little one up toward the town. But looking on the map here, I mean, is there... They really do. It's crazy. I'm trying to think of a place where we could place a pig farm on land that we own. So we're up here right now. The flattest area? I don't know, man. I mean, maybe down in the corner of this field right here, but this field is 631 grand. Oof, that's a lot. Maybe when we go back up here to pick up, maybe field 2-6. This looks kind of flat. I mean, I don't know how the village would feel about, like, these houses right here. I don't know how they'd feel about a pig farm right on the other side of the lane, but you know what? I pay my taxes. So we'll try to figure out a place to put the pigs that isn't, I mean, that'd be kind of a pain, like, especially feeding them. If we had to make 5 or 6 or 10 trips over there every time we wanted to feed the pigs, that's a long drive. And I guess, okay, well, depending on how the silos work, not necessarily, because if there are silos at the pig farm and we could fit everything that we're feeding them into the silos, then we could put it in the silo on this corner of the map and then drive over to the pig farm and unload it, right? So we wouldn't be hauling it all the way across the map. We'd only have to haul it from one side of the yard to the other, from the silo to the trough. That's a possibility. Man, the game looks so good when it's like hitting on a solid 60 FPS. It just looks so crisp. And I think the lighting on this map helps as well. Carefully through here. I'm so scared of cars coming around this corner, because they come in like a little swarm. Please drive carefully. I'm trying. UK style? Is it new? I'll take a look for it. All right, we made it. Oh, we made it. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 full length and then 2 little ones. So let's get the 2 little ones first. We'll keep working here. This one's not too long, so we'd probably just grab this from the bottom to the top. There we go. I would like to get some pigs going. I think the only thing we're not going to mess with is chickens. I mean, we can do some horses. We did horses on Holzer. No, it wasn't Holzer. Was it? Maybe it was Holzer. We did horses on Holzer. Man, my voice gets tired after a couple hours. And I think we made some decent money. Yeah, we would buy 10 horses for like 50 and sell them a while later for $500,000. So we could do some horses. Not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to anything that'll make money. The only thing I try to avoid is stuff that's like super tedious. And I haven't come across anything like that so far on this map. So we'll head back up top. And I think, yeah, we'll be able to get one more of these rows and then we'll have to come back one final time, but that's okay. We're at 2 hours, 10 minutes, so we're all right. So we flipped around here. Turn that back on. There we go. I thought we were going to split this between the pigs and the pigs and the sheep, the cows and the sheep. I thought we were going to split it, but I don't think we'll be able to, because the sheep we put hay pellets in there, and that counted as some of their food. So they have all 4 categories, but the cows it did not. So we definitely need to get this in there for them if we want them at 100% productivity. I don't think, other than the first couple months when I was playing FS15, I don't think I've ever played Farm Sim like a video game. I think I've always tried to play it like a sim, and it's one of those games that, I mean, it's got simulator in the title, but is it really a simulator? Or is it just a video game? But I've always tried to play it like a sim. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's just not meant to be. I mean, it's not, I'm not saying it's like bad or anything, but I'm really enjoying it a lot more the past week or 10 days. Probably more than I have in the past year or so. I think I just got in the habit. Oh, easy. I think I just got in the habit of trying to make it a sim. You know, trying to make it not intentionally grindy, but feeling like, well, that's how sim gamers are. If I'm not stressed, if I'm not suffering, then I'm not doing something like what people do in real life. Therefore, it's not a sim. And when I'm racing, I clench my teeth so hard I give myself cluster headaches. You know, because it's fun to play video games. And I think I extend that seriousness out to other types of sim gaming. Not to that extent, but you know what I mean. You just get in a mindset that when you're playing a sim, you want to do exactly what a person who was doing that in real life would do. Maybe this game's not meant to be played that way. British cow, sheep, pig placeables. I mean, I like the name. That's what it is. Make no mistake what you're getting. I will definitely look that up. And we're going to look for this trigger on the end. Not super realistic because we're not dumping it into the trough, but you know what? I didn't code the game. I just play it. All right, so we're out of the red now for grass, but we're back into the red for clover or alfalfa silage. And I want to say, yeah, I got 16 bales, 2 packs of 8. So that was, I think there were $5 grand per stack, so 10 grand. We got 24 grand, and we just took out 75,000 on the loan. So yeah, I'll just buy more of that. I don't know what the yield will be if we put alfalfa in this field that we're growing up right now or foraging up right now. I don't know what yield we'll get if we put clover or alfalfa in there, but I suppose we should plant it somewhere. And we may convert one of our grass fields over as well, because we have 3 or 4 big grass fields. We're going to convert this one. Maybe one other one will convert over. We'll make 1 clover and 1 alfalfa. I don't know. Oh, I got you, Ernie. And I prefer that. I feel like some of the base game assets, they made them sort of intentionally kind of generic, so they'll fit on any map, and to me that makes them really look out of place on every map. I much prefer placeables that are regionally specific. I also think it's funny that on the American map, on the Ravenport map, everything's like falling apart. It's like a mobile home with the roof collapsed in and junk everywhere. I mean, is that what the world thinks of us? So I definitely like regional specific assets. Right. So right down here. I suppose we can do this first person. Why not? Got it all? Yep. All right, so PTO off. Let's head back up here. Grab this last row and I don't know. I mean, we'll find out when we come up with the cultivator how far out to the edge the field grass goes versus the meadow grass on the verges. I think we'll be okay. Yeah, it really did feel kind of tacked on there. I love that it represents parts of the US that are hundreds of miles apart, all on the same map, like in the same neighborhood. But you know what? Ultimately, it is just a video game. Did we get it all? Close enough. I think we can call it. Now, without seasons, if you're just running base game, your animals don't die if you don't feed them, or if they run out of food. They don't die. Their productivity drops, but they don't die. All right, so we don't need to worry about any animals dying. I want to keep the productivity up. I mean, we did invest quite a bit in buying the animals themselves, and I feel like a lot of what we're doing now is focused on feeding them, so they are getting a lot of time and attention. So we need them to make us money now. All right, so that field is done. Carefully. Down in here. And then right down here. So we do have a plow. You know what? I think we can, well, no, we don't want to do that because I'm guessing clover and alfalfa grow back like grass. They don't need to be replanted. But I also never got a definite answer on whether or not grass fields need to be plowed periodically. Hanging out with a couple of fiends. Ah, no worries, Fried. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. I'm wondering if it's worth it to plow this field that we're getting ready to do. 120. I'm wondering if it's worth it to plow 120 before whatever we put in there, clover or alfalfa. I don't think it is. We've got the plow on the John Deere at the moment, so we can just leave it on there, and we'll throw our cultivator on the JCB. We'll head up there, get that started, and then we'll call it. And I think we got a slot right there. Man, it looks like, oh, you know what? Hang on. Let's put this in here. We've got our bigger sort of trailed equipment in this big shed right here. Oh, good deal, Fried. That's always nice when you can make time and catch up with people. Try to get that in there reasonably tight. All right. So now, park this up. We opened up field, the one I keep forgetting about, field 29. We opened up field 29. Well, part of it. Still need to open up the rest of it, but we've got the John Deere down there with the plow. We sprayed for a bunch of weeds. We mowed field 120 and got the animals fed. I got the cows fed. So they're on about 50% grass now. So they're at 100% productivity. Sheep are at 100% productivity. And we're going to convert now field 120 from grass to clover. Because I guess the animals need, or some of the animals need, fermented clover or alfalfa. Nothing else will do. So a lot of running around, but ultimately I think it was a pretty productive day. Yeah. I don't know, man. I think it's all tying together. I think it's just the post-mod era. I think it's the peak mod era. I think mods are going to go the way of the man bun in the next year or two. Games are just, I don't know. Console is different. Mods are different on console. Console gaming, I think, is going to dominate with these new next-gen consoles that are dropping. I think every dev is going to be making content. Almost every dev is going to be making content that is very console-friendly and comprehensive enough that you don't necessarily need mods. And even if you did need them, you can't run them anyway. So I think we've passed peak mod. All right, so we'll get this going, and that'll be just about 2.5 hours. Perfect. And I need to remind myself to take a look at this field next to 120. I feel like this could be where we put our pig farm. It's pretty flat up top. So we go right around in here. I'm actually, in fairness, I'm driving pretty fast for a tractor with a giant Jesus cultivator on the back. I'm driving pretty fast. That's on me. All right, I'm gonna pull right in here. I'm gonna have some water too. I'm getting super dry. So put that right there. Yeah, same, but I feel like I'm kind of moving away from it, Fried. I feel like it's so much simpler and easier and more stable to pull mods out. Maybe not all of them, but some of them. So I'm going to, this is the best way that I know to do this. I don't know if it's the best way, period, but it's the best way I know to do it, is just to drive as close to the outside of the field as possible. And let the field border just sort of determine itself. So we are going to be out in the hedge a little bit, but I feel like this is a great way to find the actual edge of the field. Now, I would like, well, I think I would like that the field create feature would be on all the time for virtually all implements. So essentially, if you drive too close to the edge of a field, you widen it. And there would still need to be a field border for like AI to recognize or whatever. But I feel like in real life, if you continue working at the edge of a field, you're going to gradually make that field bigger and bigger and bigger till you run into the hedge. So that would be something you had to be aware of in game. That you couldn't just do what we're doing right now. Let the difference between the meadow grass and the crop grass determine the border. That you would need to do it manually. I think I want that. I don't know if I really do. All right through here. Yeah, I don't know, Fried. I mean, I know I am. I spent many hours fighting with X-Plane yesterday, and what I finally realized was I had broken my own game. So that's third time that's happened now. Third title that's happened in. And I don't think I'm certainly more careful with mods than I used to be. I used to be kind of, you know, kind of willy-nilly, kind of reckless. Hang on, I just realized we don't have this turned on. So we want to go here. Turn that on. Yeah, I'm more careful than I used to be, but I feel like I want to be even more careful still. And I don't think I'm an idiot, although one of the characteristics of being an idiot is you don't think you're an idiot. It's sort of a, yeah. I don't think I'm dumb. I mean, I read the directions and I have a pretty solid understanding of IT and how things work. So I try to be careful with mods. I don't just, you know, slam them all in there together and assume that everything will work or hope that it works. I try to, you know, be methodical. I'm aware of the fact that two mods that do the same thing are probably going to conflict, or two mods that affect the same parts of the game are probably going to conflict. But even so, I still, you know, you look in the crash file and it's like, oh, right, that's what did it. So I don't know, maybe I just need to be super careful and really decide, you know, I'm only going to run 2 mods per sim or 5 mods. Not farm sim, that's a little bit different, but something like X-Plane. You know, just be really specific about what I use. Yeah, I think, oh, probably 2 or 3 times lifetime I've broken a save game. But I feel like, other than maybe the first time, for the most part, when it happens, it is genuinely a mystery. Like, I've been careful, I've tried to do my homework, I've tried to, understand what mods I'm running or why. I know the CSZ implement kit, the front loader and telehandler tools by CSZ they used to be Black Lion, I think. I know in 17 that mod had a reputation for breaking save games, and I lost the save game. I mean, I was able to get it back by going to my backup, but I lost the save game and took a look around, and finally, probably Reddit or someplace, I found, like, yeah, this mod pack is really only safe if you run it by itself. It really doesn't work well with other mods because it has so many small moving pieces and so many key commands. So it's happened to me a few times, but I want to say, for the most part, it's not my fault. And that's, I mean, ultimately it is my fault because I'm the one who's picking the mods and running them, but there are some mods that are a little dodgy. And if you run them, you're going to have problems regardless of what you're running them with. You can have problems even if you run them by themselves. Yeah, I mean, I hear you, Fried, and I'm very sympathetic to what you're describing. Another reason I don't have the Facebooks. Yeah, I think ModHub and Simply Safe, even GitHub. I know GitHub is like nerd paradise, and you think, well, if nerds created it, it's got to be safe. It's got to be high quality, but not necessarily. I've gotten some dodgy stuff from GitHub, and the response typically seems to be, well, it is a beta. Should have known better. And it's like, well, I mean, you should have told me it was a beta. Oh, I hear you, Fried. I think really the only genuinely sketchy mod sites are the Russian pop-up sites. And I feel like because pop-ups they're sort of lying to you. It's like the guy in Las Vegas snapping the brochure at you for, $9.99 all you can eat lobster buffet, and you go inside and it's like, yes, it is $9.99, but only after you do this or do that. So pop-ups are sort of the same thing to me. Like, if you're trying to get me to your site, not so I see ads, but so I get like inundated with malware pop-ups, I don't think the content that you're promising is really critical anymore, and so there's nothing about you that I trust. I mean, there's a difference between, somebody on YouTube who's trying to create good content, but they run ads because they need to make money. Okay, I feel you. I respect that. But then there's like clickbait videos where you never see the thing that was in the thumbnail, and they designed it that way on purpose to keep you watching till the very end because you want to see the thing that you saw in the thumbnail. So that type of deception, of course the mods are going to be terrible because the mods aren't the whole point of the site. Yeah, exactly. What do I need you for? If I can get this on ModHub and get free update support, what do I need you for? All right, so we got that side squared off. We'll go ahead and finish this up. How are we doing? We got a few more minutes. And this will be our alfalfa field. Alfalfa or crazy. Or crate. Wow. It's so crazy. Okay. Sorry, multitasking. It's time to end the stream. Let's finish this field. Clover or crazy, yeah. It's so crazy how they just rip those mods from Mod Hub and openly post them. Yeah, and the thing that you have to wonder about is, like, what is the advantage of going to your site versus Mod Hub? And why would anybody go there? Right? There's truly no advantage. You go to a site that is tons of pop-ups, tons of malware, right? Chrome is flashing warnings left and right, or you can just go to the Mod Hub and get exactly the same file. What is the advantage of going to that person's site? And a lot of them are they're so sketchy, they're delisted on Google, so they're not even popping up there. Spent so many wasted hours. How so, Ernie? What do you mean? I mean, it's a massive mod that's running in a game that I'm told was never intended to be modded. That changes like the entire game. That's a massive undertaking. Props to them for trying to build a mod like that, but I could understand that it has a lot of problems. I mean, if anything, I would be surprised if it didn't have problems. And I mean, when I see something like that, I do think about, you know, the way, because what? DayZ grew out of Arma 2? I think I got that right. DayZ was a master mod for Arma 2. And then, what's the other one? Postscriptum grew out of Squad? Is that right? Oh. So when I see a big mod like that, a big master mod like that, I always wonder, you know, did the developers, are they hoping that Rockstar will, like, notice that and buy it from them so they could sell it as a DLC? I mean, I guess there's no reason to buy it now because it's already available, but you know what I mean. Is that an audition? Yeah, that's why I cleaned out X-Plane last night and this morning. To be having game crashes, particularly on landing or on approach. And what's happening is it's loading the assets of the airport that I'm going to, and it's having a problem loading them, and that's when it crashes. Just bought some sheep. First time ever, Stan. And what tell me what you're thinking. Like, as a new player, I'm numb to Farm Sim now. I've played it so long. As a new player, what do you think of this very unusual title? I don't know how crews like that make money, Ernie. I don't know what the deal is. Same with pro mods. I mean, there are thousands of hours of work in pro mods. How does that happen? And I found out something very interesting about X-Plane. So I knew you could buy hand-built airports, and I know that there were some Aerosoft hand-built airports included in base game, but it's got like 30,000 airports. I assumed they were procedurally generated, right? Where somebody goes through and just very basically looks at an overhead view of an airport and just grabs a few assets or tells the auto generator, this is a terminal, you know, this is a runway. It's not going to be perfect, but it'll work. So you've got some hand-built airports, like the big important ones, and then the rest of them are just sort of procedurally generated. I thought, I come to find out there's something called like the airport gateway, and I guess anybody in the community who wants to can work on an airport in X-Plane and then upload it. Now, they do have to be reviewed, but that would certainly explain why I have found some airports that are just, I don't even want to fly out of them. I just want to like spawn into another airport because they're that bad. So that's a payware product, right? You're paying for that, and they still have content being built by volunteers. So something like ProMods or Los Santos PD, I really do wonder, like, how does this all work? Even if you've got a volunteer crew building everything, you've still got to have people auditing it, right? You've still got to have people that you, like, trust and, I don't know, pay. There's got to be some choke point. There's got to be some funnel where that content, wherever it originates from, whether from a volunteer or from somebody who's getting paid, there's got to be a choke point where it, I don't know. So I don't know how ProMods does it, and I don't know how the Los Santos PD crew do it. You feel like there's got to be money changing hands somewhere, but then they give it away. And even the idea that, well, you know, they place ads on sites, and so they get a penny or a nickel every time somebody downloads it. I mean, not ProMods. ProMods has their own WordPress blog, and I've never seen an ad on there. So I don't know how those companies, I call them companies, organizations, whatever you want to call them. I don't know how they make money. Just so bored in UK lockdown, so I'm enjoying this game. All right, well, I mean, give me a 20-hour update when you get there, a 100-hour update. I don't know how much you're playing it, but let me know what you think of it. Because I've been playing it for years and I still love it. But it's definitely a different kind of title. It's a different kind of game to play. And I'm always curious what people that are playing it, that just started playing it, I'm always curious how they feel about it, what they think. All right, so that's 2 hours, 40 minutes. We'll call it. And next episode, let me see. We need to finish. Oh, that's right. Hang on. We're not quite done yet. We can just teleport down there. Let's see how we did. So this field is, the bulk of it is done. I think we just got to do these little bits up here. And this is cultivated and plowed. Fantastic. So we'll get this done. We'll get some seed in it. $2,000 hours. That's a lot of hours, Fried. Respect. That is a lot of hours. I think I've got 1,000 in all of them. No, it's more than that, because I've got, well, maybe not. I've got 800 in FS19. I think I've got about 617. So I say I'm 1,400. All right. That works. 2255.9. Better go knock out 6 minutes, making an even 2256. You really do, Fried. You were all about the farm sim. All right, so what are we going to do tomorrow? We're going to, let's drive a truck tomorrow. I just reskinned the 389 and built a trailer for it. So we'll drive a little bit of ATS. We'll drive across Washington and Idaho into Colorado. And then Friday, we'll be back here on Chellington, keep working. And then Saturday or Sunday. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Hang on. What did Nightbot do? All right. I will, I need to get in there and adjust some settings. Oh, no worries, Fried. You're a made man. You got nothing to worry about. I will adjust some settings in Nightbot. I wonder if I can exempt... I'll take a look at Nightbot. If I can exempt you, you know what I can do? Hang on. I can just do this. Moment. There you go. Nightbot will leave you alone from here on out. Fried. So we'll do, what do we say? ATS tomorrow. Chellington on Friday. And then this weekend, we're going to recreate that flight from Brussels... I'm sorry, from Manchester to Brussels, and we'll do the landing. We have to do it in the Rotate, though, because I uninstalled all my other payware aircraft. I just have the Rotate and the Zebo now. All right, there you go. We got a lot done today. I think we did. I'm really loving this map. FS19 has given me like a newfound enthusiasm for Farm Sim. It's all working out. All right, thanks, everybody. See you tomorrow. We'll do some ATS. Take care. Good night.